How did America acquire its land? It was taken from Native Americans, plain and simple. This land bears witness to at least 2 chapters of exceptionally brutal and bloody history that cannot be erased, the slave trade and the genocide of Native Americans. Yet America, which prides itself on free speech, wouldn't allow these historical periods to be depicted in films until black Americans gained a foothold in politics and finally secured a voice. Only then did movies addressing the history of slavery begin to emerge. The slave trade began in the 15th century when European colonizers trafficked black people from Africa to the Americas to work as slaves. Their primary duties involved backbreaking labor in mines and plantations. As a result, the average life expectancy of an enslaved person was around 7 years, only the strongest could survive a decade. This was both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because they lived longer than most, a curse because it meant enduring more years of inhumane bondage. By 1841, the northern states began gradually abolishing slavery. The black people who had been sold there regained their freedom and could live alongside white Americans, taking regular jobs. But the South was different. Their economy depended on cotton cultivation, which required massive amounts of cheap labor, so the slave trade continued to thrive. This man, Solomon, was a free black man living in the North. He had married, started a family, and earned a living playing the violin. While not wealthy, he could support his household. One day, 2 white performers invited him to play out of town. The performance went well, and he earned double his usual fee. In celebration, he had a couple of drinks and passed out. When he woke up, he found himself locked in a dark cell. A white enforcer entered, and no matter how Solomon tried to explain, the man insisted he was a runaway slave from the South. Even when Solomon mentioned his free papers, the enforcer ignored him and beat him until he admitted to being a slave. The truth was that the North's abolition of slavery had created a severe shortage of enslaved workers in the South. Human traffickers resorted to kidnapping and deceiving black people, selling them down south as slaves. Solomon was soon loaded onto a ship bound for the South. Most of the passengers were strong black men, but they didn't dare resist. Some even believed that if their future owners treated them with even a hint of kindness, they'd consider themselves lucky. When a trafficker took a black woman away at night for unspeakable purposes, another black man who merely tried to intervene was thrown into the river. Before long, the ship reached a southern port, the gateway to hell for these people. The docks teemed with only 3 types of people: slaves, traffickers, and buyers. The traffickers cleaned up the newly arrived slaves while buyers eagerly began their selection.